Sunday, everybody. It's your boy Capper. Twitterless Steve has returned to keep me on the track. Hopefully give me good information so I'm not fucking dead on Thursdays. It's the Houston Open 2026 preview. Steve, I am very happy to have you back. How are you, bud?
Well, I mean, I probably wouldn't have put you on a good path anyways, because I was stuck in the airport on Sunday night after watching another heartbreaking tournament that qualified for number 10 on the paying rankings for me. Congratulations to Sam Burns, you getting beat by Nick Dunlap, and amateurs no longer on the list. Seeing Ludwig choke and seeing all your angry text messages about how you were going to quit golf. But in the back of my pocket, hey, you know, I got Fitzpatrick and he's up 1, 2 to go. And apparently America won that day and I lost.
So America did win.
Yeah,
America did win.
It did. But hey, listen, I still had a good tournament anyways. I was still up a lot because of I'm good at tournament props. That's okay.
Yep.
But no, yeah. So I was pretty disconnected from golf this week. I heard that you had quite a rousing show on Tuesday without me, but I am going to put you back on the straight and narrow. We are going to talk about boring golf design and stats and everything. But yes, it is. It's good to have both of us back to go over a golf tournament.
Yeah. So, what did you randomly put down at the airport bar? And first of all, what is is it an airport beer, airport cocktail? What are we drinking?
Oh, it was beer. Yeah, I am at the point now where I can't really handle hard liquor anymore. It's okay. And I'm also at the point too where I just don't want to be hungover. So it's beer strictly for me.
So what's funny is I can only drink a few beers and then I have to switch to the booze because I just get fucking full. Yeah, I just get full.
Oh, you just get full. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I do.
You know, this is continuing a trend of you commenting on people's weight and like how full you get, you know.
Fucking, I mean, for the gutter up for he's turning into fucking Tony Soprano. We're watching it in his eyes. Like he needs to lay off the fucking the cheesesteaks and the Italian hoagies. He needs to lay off. Like he's gonna fuck his swing up. And I like gutter up. That's why I don't want it to happen.
All right. Well, you know what? You would have had a lot of comments about this leaderboard then, because we had a bunch of fatties up the top. We had Sung Jae. You had David Lipsky's got a little bit of heft to him. You had
Fitz is the flabbiest, fucking most out of shape. Like he just looks like a sack of fucking milk. You know what I mean? He looks like a sack of fucking milk. He has he's pasty fucking suntan lotion all over him. Just looks like a frumpy asshole. He does this stupid fucking thing now that makes me want to throw my fucking whatever I'm holding into my TV with his shoulders on his pre-shot routine. That makes me fucking insane. Oh, and by the way, did you know he had parents? He has parents, Steve, and they're nice people. Did you know that? Did you know that his parents were nice? Did you know? Because I was told 5,000 fucking times today that his parents were fucking nice.
All right. Well, shout out Canada for bags of milk reference from you here. No, you had plenty of thoughts about Fitzpatrick. He has been the target of your ire. You know what the part of the what I really wanted to do, besides touting the fact I picked Fitzpatrick for the players, what I really wanted to do would just needle you a little bit about how, Fitzy, it's St. Patty's Day weekend. You got to pick him. But you know what? Then he won the following week. Technically the week after St. Patrick's Day, so I can still make that joke. You got to pick Fitzpatrick around St. Patrick's Day because he's a good Irish boy. Yeah, I'm sure that is what's really up your craw, because now you got probably dumb people saying that, and besides the fact you just don't like him. So why don't you just go into it, rant for a little bit? You tried to go a little bit in the self or in text messages today. Why was this a fake win on a fake golf course to you?
Well, did you see the leaderboard? He beat Lipsky. Okay, that's who he beat. He beat Lipsky, something named Marco Penge.
Stop it. Marco Penge is the hot name that everybody wants to bet because he's English DJ.
Okay? Oh no, RK had fucking Lipsky fucking 350-1. Oh my god. And that brace face Skechers wearing scumbag. Fucking unreal. I fucking Fitzy is there's not a golfer I fucking hate to look at more. I hate to watch fucking play more. I hate to hear his fucking voice. I hate Fitzy. And look, by all accounts, apparently a nice guy. I don't know. Who cares? I know his parents are nice. I know his parents are very nice, and he talked to them on the phone and he called them. But I guess he's a good son. I don't fucking know. This routine, Steve, have you fucking seen it? Have you seen this fucking thing he does before every goddamn shot now?
I have.
Is the most maddening thing I have ever seen. The fucking the Billy shuffle going up to the putt, the Cantlay rocking back and forth like he's stepping on the wood floor with his victims below him. Nothing is worse than I have seen with this Fitz fucking it literally just makes me fucking insane. He's such a twat too. He just really is. He put the French guy he was on the clock, which is fine, I guess. Like I don't know. I wasn't why. That's literally when I started like actually paying attention. I was like, wait, somebody got put on the clock. I hate Fitz. I hate him. I hate his face. I hate everything about him. He dresses like a schlub. He looks like a schlub. He's a British cocksucker. So that's just there's a million strikes against him. A million. He hasn't seen his wife in how many weeks? Months? Did he say? Why? You make millions. No, why don't you fly your wife over? What's happening? You know why? Because she's getting railed by some pool boy back home. That's what's happening. She doesn't want to come watch you do this before every golf shot. Oh, that shit is so funny, Steve. I get so mad at that.
All right. Well, considering all my outrights were dead by the time I landed in Florida. I did take a little bit of Fitzpatrick 7-1, looking at that leaderboard on Saturday, saying, you know what would really annoy me if I bet him last week and then he finally won this week. And I'm looking at this leaderboard, a bunch of losers. So you know what? I'll take it for a little bit. Can't tout the cash. Doesn't go to my record, but I was technically off this week anyway, so nothing I really did mattered.
No, so, it's all magic. It's all magic.
Yeah, it's all magic units, you know. So
what a shit leaderboard. Like, and I like this tournament because I like the holes, I like how hard it plays. But my God, what a fucking leaderboard today. Brent Snedeker. Yeah. He's my age, I think. Had a shot at winning the fucking tournament. He's a couple years away from the fucking senior tour. And he doubled. He made an awful double to just eject himself out. Sanjay, you knew was going to do something fucking stupid. And he played like ass today. And Sanjay is fat, but he's always been fat. So he's not getting fatter like Gutter Up. Gutter Up needs to stop getting fatter. Sanjay's just always been fat. Yeah, it's just insane. Like Lipsky. What a fucking bum tournament. Pench is fun to watch, though. I'll give you that. Like, I don't know. I don't think I've actually seen him play more than I have today. He's always just in the streets because he hits it a fucking long way. But he looks all right. He's fine. He's French, though, right? Is he French?
No, he's English. He's English.
Christ. Even worse.
I mean, is he like Italian descent English? Maybe that'll make it okay for you.
I don't particularly like Italians either, Steve.
What are you talking about?
I don't like Italians.
You don't like Italians? This is breaking news.
It's not breaking news. I am a Boston Irish Catholic. We used to fight with Italians all the time.
Aren't you like half Italian? Don't you get some Italian?
No, I'm not half Italian. I will fucking kill you where you stand. I have no Italian blood in me. Zero.
No Italian blood in you.
None. Zero. I'll pull up. Yeah. Matter of fact, I'll pull up my 23andMe right now. It's fucking literally 100.
I thought there was someone on your mom's side.
No, man. First of all, I'm fucking adopted, and I was terrified that I was gonna have Italian in me because I can tan, and I grew up in an Irish Catholic household. Right?
Okay.
So, but now that I could tan, when I came back from Iraq, I looked like Puerto Rican baby Jesus, like fucking just tan as shit, baby blue eyes. It was weird. And I was like, oh, there's no way I'm actually fucking as Irish as I think I am. And I was like, and I've been making fun of Italians my whole life. Like, what's fucking Pete, my best friend, half Italian, make fun of him and his family the whole time. It's a rivalry thing, the Irish and the Italians.
Okay.
Snooze and it's
all right. Well, I like Innisbrook a lot, as I talked about on the last Sunday show, because what it does a good job of is just putting everybody in a box off the tee and leveling the playing field, because everybody's basically headed to the same place and becomes a contest of irons. And when you get really firm, crispy conditions, the greens can go to hell, even though it's overseed, the worst grass you can put on a golf course. Apparently no one minded this week because it lived up everybody's standards as far as the difficulty. I like Innisbrook a lot. And that was a fun floor to swing. I think every single tournament pretty much delivered. You had a really good ending to the Cognizant. Bay Hill was great. The Players was one of the best tournaments we've seen, over the last 10 years or so. And I thought today was pretty good with Valspar. I know there was a lot of gross golf. I know there was a lot of bad golf played, but golf course played good. held its own, despite the fact there wasn't a ton of wind Saturday and Sunday. You got a winning score of 11 under. Not much, more you can really say to that. So,
did you do the winning score? Did you do the winning score again this week?
No, I don't have access to that in Florida, and I was just completely checked out this week. So, for very good reasons. So, but no, I think I have a pretty good beat on the weather and conditions this week. I am going to be very in tune with it. We will go over a lot of that tonight. So I'll get right to it. You want to go
make some money this week, Steve? Steve, I need to make some money this week. Can we make some money this week, please?
I'll try. Can you actually go to a state where you can actually bet on round scores and like tournament props and everything like that? That I've been. I
might have to go. I just might have to go offshore again.
Well, the problem is they're not available on the offshore. Well, you know what? On Bovada they are. So that's probably your.
Bovada's those scum fucks who like shut my account down and fucking didn't pay me out. Like fuck Bovada. Like I hate Bovada. That's the worst.
Well, Bovada completely doesn't even service New York anymore. When they all went legal books, they said, "All right, you got to cash out, say goodbye." And that was when I actually took them to the cleaners like Kiowa before I said au revoir.
I remember that.
And said, "See you later." But
Kiowa, that was fun. I remember when I was winning golf bets. That was fun.
That was a fun tournament. We made a lot of money at Kiowa.
So we did. Yes, mandatory hard rock sucks. Yes, Dirt McCart. Hard rock sucks.
All right. You want to go to Memorial Park?
Let's do it.
All right. Let's go start the Texas swing. The producer Cam swing, as I like to call it too. Yes. But we start with a good one. We start with Memorial Park. And I think the story of the Houston Open, I think, is partially about the golf course, but I think it's also about just the state of the Houston Open and this tournament over the years. And if you guys don't remember, probably around like late 2010s, like 2017, 2018, this golf tournament was definitely on its last legs. It always floated around the schedule. It was floating around different golf courses. It settled on the Golf Club of Houston for about a decade or so before that ended up being a terrible live course on their schedule as well. But couple things happened. 2018, the Houston Astros came in, and said, we're going to be the official, basically sponsor, like kind of prop it up. It's going to be the official charity for this tournament. And that was important to pump, it gave it a little more legitimacy as far as like a professional sports team is going to put some money into it, make it matter a little bit. And second, the city of Houston, they wanted to put it back into the city, make it, put it in a urban golf course. And they had a good one. They have Memorial Park. That was a very famous public course in the city of Houston. It got 60,000 rounds a year, but it was in desperate need of a renovation and a touch up because it had gotten overgrown, like a lot of municipal golf courses are. They don't maintain it properly. But with the backing of the Houston Astros, they, put in enough resources in this golf course, and they hired Tom Doak, who is mostly known for a lot of like resort destination courses, like a couple of the Bandon Dunes courses, Stream Song. It's basically the problem with his courses, though. If they're mostly resort courses, Stream Song's nice, but the problem with some of his courses, though, is that they're a little short. They don't have the capacity to handle, like a tournament course. But this one did. This had a lot of real estate in it. So it had a good canvas, but it definitely needed a makeover and a bunch of changes. So this is what it was before. This is the routing right here, but you can see just everything was really overgrown, narrow fairways, it looked pretty standard for the most part. But then after you touched it up, they removed a lot of trees. They did a bunch of other changes I'll talk about in a little bit, but they definitely revitalized it. They lengthened it. They moved some holes, moved some greens to make it a very good championship course. They also got some consultation from Brooks Koepka, who probably gets a little bit too much credit for what he contributed to this golf course. A lot of times, basically, these players come on the course, they look at it, they walk a couple holes, they say a couple things, and the architects, whoever is doing it, be like, all right, sure, I'll write that down. It's basically like a sure Jan gif at that point, like, just nod, wink, whatever. I'm just going to do whatever I want. But there were a couple of comments that Brooks actually made about this that were, kind of included in the final product here. So what were some of the changes that were made to Memorial Park? Well, they wanted to position more greens closer to some of the hazards. So one of the things that was just buried beneath all these trees here was there was a really intricate canyon system that ran through the course that just was kind of lost with the sands of time here. And they utilized it for a couple of things. Number one, just to move some greens a little closer to it to present more of a challenge for golf, but also it helped with drainage. So a lot of the course just drains into this canyon system, and that helps reduce the amount of like irrigation infrastructure you need, saved a lot of money on the project where you can actually use natural terrain to remove water from the course. But it also serves more as a challenge. This is the seventh hole here. You have a pretty steep canyon over here where if you miss left, you can incur a penalty stroke. And this comes into play at a couple holes on this course where the canyon, like either they move the fairway closer to a canyon or a couple greens closer to the canyon. That was one of the ways they were able to change this to improve it. They also removed a bunch of bunkers and rough on the course.
That was a straight fucking hole, huh? Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, a very boring hole here. 457 yards, 2 bunkers, 1 on each side, narrow fairway, rough. Pretty standard municipal hole here. Well, one of the things that Brooks said was, a lot of these fairway bunkers are superfluous. Basically means they're just not really in play for these guys. You saw where Marco Penge today on number 1 just hit it straight over the left bunker, just take it completely out of play. Well, a lot of these bunkers that are on some of these courses just don't matter to these guys. So what they did was, with the amateur golfer in mind, was they removed a lot of these bunkers, but they also they moved some land here to create like little subtle land movement off the fairway here that is imperceptible to an amateur golfer, but can be annoying and a nuisance for a pro golfer who knows exactly like, okay, this is the ball's slightly above me. It's kind of a nuisance at this point. So that's some of the things that they added were kind of subtle challenges to a pro golfer, but made it a little friendlier and easier for an amateur golfer.
That 329 bunker is not in play for me.
No, it's not, but it's in play for Marco Penge potentially if it's into the wind.
Exactly.
Yeah. And if there's a little bit of uneven lies in some of the rough here, that can create a little bit of annoyance for some of these guys. And they also removed a lot of rough, specifically around the green that we'll get to in a little bit. They also redesigned a bunch of holes. This is specifically number 16 and 17. And there's only one primary water hazard on the course. They removed this one right here. But you see here, this is a long par 5. Water doesn't really come into play unless you grossly miss here. And then 17 played away from the water. Again, the water hazard wasn't really
isn't that where Minwoo almost went in and we almost had a heart attack?
Well, Minwoo did go in on this hole. He did go in. He went in on this. It was the equivalent of... God, who did that a couple weeks ago? No, it was Shane. Basically, he did what Shane Lowry did.
Lowry did, yeah.
On 16 at college.
Or Ludwig going left at TPC instead of right.
Yeah, that was rough. I was at
a fucking mile left.
So I was at the library with my kids when that happened, and then my phone started blowing up with you wishing horrible, awful things.
What are you doing at the librry?
Because I had to entertain my kids on the weekend. So, and there's a part of me that. All right, you want to know what's really sick about me? You want to go into my sick, twisted mind?
Come on,
there's a part of me that thinks, you know what? If I'm a good dad right now during a golf tournament that I really want to sweat, you know what? Maybe there'll be some good karma that comes my way. And instead, 2 really awful moments on the pain rankings. One, this player's championship where I'm actually trying to be a good dad, quote unquote. And that when you go to the library and entertain my kid? Yeah, and the other one was bat time twice in 2 weeks. That's right. At the Sony, where rest in peace, play better Grayson Murray takes out an outright. And then the following week, I was in the bathtub, and then all of a sudden my phone blows up saying Sam Burns. Oh no! I'm like, well, maybe I should just be more of an asshole dad. Maybe this good dad stuff doesn't actually matter when it comes to sweating golf outrights. But anyways, though, they ended up transforming these 2 holes right here. They brought the water, they expanded the water hazard, brought it more in play here. And they also made the water wrap around the green to create, basically a faux island green here. Yeah. And then they also changed the water hazard to make this, put the green closer to the water on 17. And you can also move the tee box here to make it drivable as well. So They made a lot of different changes to the routing. Basically where some old tee boxes were, those are some greens. They turned some par 4s into par 3s. They really completely transformed the golf course. And then the last change was basically eliminated most of the rough around each green, replaced it with tight lies. Yeah, which again has a little bit of in mind for the amateur, where a lot of these amateurs can just putt back up to the putting surface instead of chip off it.
Well, weren't they trying to do that to make it play more like Augusta too?
Well, we'll get to that in a little bit. That wasn't the intention. The true intention was an amateur golfer will be able to putt back up to the surface, while a pro has to chip off a tight lies, which is more of a challenge.
Oh, yeah. Now,
there was something they did to try and make it more Augusta-like that we'll get to right now. So, this is the GCSAA report, renovation by Tom Doak, 2019. So it's important to keep in mind with this tournament that 2020, 2021, 2022, it's all played in the fall. That was Bermuda. Now, because it's moved to March, everything is now overseeded. There are some positive things that the overseed did, some negative things. I think a positive is if you are looking for an Augusta tune-up or warm-up, you basically have two choices. One, you can play Valero, which is, a fairly difficult golf course, especially when the wind is up. And with Valero, you can have practice hitting off of uneven lies and elevation changes. Yeah. That's one. This one, though, if you want practice with some tight overseeded lies around the green with some pretty crazy undulated greens, like significantly undulated ones, complex ones, this is a good tune-up if you want to test your short game. Also, maybe if you want to test a place where there just isn't a big missed fairway penalty. Now at Augusta, that one, if you blow it way, way off course into the pine trees, then you are incurring a penalty. This one, if you just blast it off the plan, as long as you don't put in the canyon or that water hazard on 16.
There's no penalty here.
No, there really isn't. And we'll get to the stats in a little bit. But each course offers a different type of comp and tune-up to Augusta. And I commend Houston for saying, you know what? We want to stay on the schedule. If we are going to move into March, which, we'll look at the weather. They don't have to overseed. It's definitely warm enough. But if they maybe want to try and track some guys who might want to be able to chip on some tight overseeded lies to some pretty difficult greens, this actually is not a bad comp. And also hit a bunch of long irons into some difficult undulated greens. That's another way you can tune it up too. So, I at least applaud them for that. There are some negative things that happened. Mostly the rough is only 1.25 inches, which we'll look at the stats. It basically makes it completely not penal at all to miss a fairway. Now, there's a couple subtle little things in this GCA report that is important to know for this tournament. Let's start with some agronomy stuff, some weather stuff. Okay. So back when they were overseeding in November, there was not a lot of rain, and that made it difficult to place the overseed down. Right. So they had some trouble doing that. Might have been a little spotty. Now that would be more impactful if there was actually like a 4-inch ryegrass rough that they were trying to go for. It'd be more spotty, more inconsistent. But basically they had trouble putting the overseed down. And then there's this note right here that recently has been warm and dry, which has helped the underlying Bermuda grass, but has made it difficult to manage the moisture to keep the ryegrass healthy. So this tells me that the overseed wasn't put down very well. It might be a little inconsistent. And because it's been pretty warm in Houston, it's been in the 80s, lows have been in the 70s. When that happens, we see overseeded courses. Sometimes the Bermuda starts popping up. And now all of a sudden, overseeded around the green surface might be a little grainier and have some Bermuda in it. And I wouldn't be surprised if maybe you see and hear a little bit of that this week. I remember distinctly, remember the November Augusta, the Masters, because it was so warm. Yeah. Well, one of the things, even though it played easy because it was soft, one of the things the guys complained about was there was a lot more Bermuda around the green than other Masters, and actually made it a little more difficult to chip off of that.
Of course, because Bermuda is the devil.
Right. And we'll get to some of the difficulty with around the green stuff for the last couple of years. I think if there is maybe a little more Bermuda in this because it's been warm, the overseas wasn't put down very well, might be a little difficult as far as we might get a little bit more of that difficulty back than we saw a couple of years ago. So stay tuned for that. Second thing, though, is tournament setup. Now, it's a par 70, but it's a little bit unique. There's 5 par 3s and there's 3 par 5s. So that's how they makes up the pars. Basically, they took away a par 4 for that. But the yardage here, the GCSA, now people say like, all right, long irons, it's a long golf course. The GCSAA report says it's about 7,500 yards. That is not how long they play it, though. Okay. This is actually the yardage is going all the way back 2021.
Last year.
Yeah, we talked about this. It never plays above 7,200 yards. In fact, actually in 2022, that leaderboard will go over a little bit. The last final round played under 7,000 yards because it was so fucking cold. And that day they had to shorten it up.
Crazy.
But because there's 5 par 3s, it plays deceptively long. Kind of like with Narashino, they had the 5 par 3s. And a lot of these par 4s are very long as well. And some of the par 3s as well are like pretty short. Like I think number 15 can play as short as like 122. So even though the true yardage is like 7,100 yards or so, you can see in the proximity like buckets, there's still plenty of long irons. There's still plenty of longer par 4s. There just are a couple drivable par 4s and a couple shorter par 3s that really shrink the yardage. And an extra par 3.
Okay.
So that's just something to keep in mind is the GCSA report says it's about 7,500 yards. It's not, but it still is a pretty deceptively long golf course, even though it's only this yardage. So let's go over the scoring averages. And I split it out between pre-overseed and after overseed.
Say what happened in 2023? Where's that?
Well, because the 2022 season, this was November 22, so it was part of 2023, but I always do just the calendar year.
Okay, gotcha. Okay,
fair enough. So these were the November Houston Opens. Do you remember the 2021, like the week before the COVID Masters?
That was Kokrak, right?
No, that was 2021. This was Carlos Ortiz won that year.
I hate Kokrak.
It was mega firm and mega windy, and it played pretty great that week.
My favorite Texan won in 2021 for all the old listeners.
He did. And I'm actually going to say, by the way, the last 4 years, either we have given out the winner or we have had somebody come on the show and give out the winner.
That's true.
So we have a pretty good track record for this tournament. We'll try and keep that streak up this year. But
fucking BK about fucking buried me. He fucking did the what do you call it when you call
the straight forecast? Scotty and Jaeger straight forecast, and nearly ended some friendships over that.
Seriously, buried me.
Yeah, he did bury you. So, but pre overseas though, this was in the fall. You had some colder temperatures, a little windier conditions. You had Bermuda that was pretty firm. I mean, it played pretty much over par every single round, other than 2020 where it played. The wind kind of died down. A lot tougher tournament. 2024 and 2025 though. You got a little bit of wind the first 2 rounds, but then it really laid down in round 3, round 4. They got a lot of rain a couple weeks before the tournament, and it kind of still played a little soft and receptive over the weekend. So that's why you saw scoring get a little better. Last year, though, they got absolutely dumped on with rain during the tournament. They got 3/4 of an inch of rain on Monday. It rained almost an inch of rain, I think, from Wednesday to Saturday. Yeah. And round 1 was they were playing in a rain and windstorm through most of it. But then all of that went away in round 2 and 4. And these guys just kind of ate it up at that point. At that point, it became a pretty soft golf course with no missed fairway penalty. It took a lot of bite around the green stuff that we'll get to in a little bit. But that's why what happened last year happened. Now, as far as the forecast this year goes, they got a lot of rain.
Are we looking at premium weather or poor people?
No, this is actual measured rain. Let me actually bring it up on my phone. They got a lot of rain a couple weeks ago. So let me get it. Yeah. So that's March 24. I don't want that. Where are you? Here we are. Okay. All right. So back on March 7th and 8th, they got about 2 inches of rain. And they got another 3/4 of an inch of rain March 11th. It has not rained since. And it's been really hot. And it's been sunny for most of the time.
Yeah. Even 2 inches of rain that long ago with this much hot heat has been, that's not going to do anything.
Yeah. And it's not
2 inches of rain is a lot of fucking rain.
It is, but it hasn't rained since the 11th. And it's been pretty warm and pretty sunny. And it's going to be sunny all week. So comparing the last 2 years, they got rain more recently closer to the tournament than this one. So if it dries, I'm interested in seeing if it dries out sufficiently by Thursday, even though they did get a lot of rain a couple weeks ago, with how warm it's going to be, with how sunny it's going to be. If we get a little of wind and maybe some of that Bermuda popping up around the green.
Nice. Get a little chaos.
Yeah, maybe the greens might be a little more Bermuda too. Sometimes you see that as well. Like you get some of that grain back. And, there's chemicals you can spray on some of this on the overseed to try and temper the Bermuda. But when it gets this warm, like there's only so much you can do. We might get a fun tournament, maybe a little more difficult than maybe people think it would be because they saw what happened last year. So stay tuned. Let's see how the weather forecast kind of plays out.
Is Gary in the field this week?
Gary's in the field this week, and he's probably going to cost a lot of people some money this week because he played well this week.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's going to cost me money, Steve. That's very presumptuous.
Do you want to give out your first bet of the week? Gary Woodland, 70-1.
Oh, is he going to be 70?
It might be. Ugh, I don't know about that. Why are you scoffing? Just a number. Just pick the right golfer.
I know. Listen. I'm with you, but damn, 70 for Gary. I don't know. We'll see.
All right. So again, I broke out the strokes gained by difficulty by pre-overseed, post-overseed. So you look at 20, 21, 22. Fairly difficult for approach play, mostly because I think you're hitting into it. You got some weather factors into it, but also you're hitting off of Bermuda, makes it a little more difficult. Around the green, it was definitely very tough. Again, you're playing off of, tight Bermuda lies, onto some firmer, faster Bermuda greens. Off the tee, just not a whole lot of difficulty. Just, in general, because there's just not a big missed fairway penalty. There's not a lot of hazards. No, they took out all the fairway bunkers.
Minwoo found it, and there's still no penalty. He still won the tournament.
Well, this is pre-Bermuda or pre-overseed. And then putting, it's about like middle of the road. After the overseed, stayed about the same with the off the tee stuff, about average difficulty, than the PGA Tour stop. But you saw really two big changes. Approach play got a lot easier. And I would attribute a lot of this to the overseed, the cut down rough. It just is a lot easier to hit off of 1 1/4 inch ryegrass than like 2-inch Bermuda. And with how soft it was last year, it just became just a dartboard. It became so easy. And around the green, definitely got a little easier as well. Part of that is a little bit of the overseed, but a lot of that too is with the weather. And I think people are going to be quick to blame the overseed for what they're seeing the last 2 years, but we'll dive into that in a little bit. Putting stayed about the same though.
People are blame overseed for everything now.
They do. And we just went through a very good Florida stretch where every single course had overseed. And I thought 4 of them were bangers and challenge these guys. But you know what? We'll just keep blaming that grass next year.
So real quick side, did you watch the Chasing Sunday thing?
No, I didn't.
Oh, buddy, listen, if I enjoyed it, you'll enjoy it. Like, because you know how much I hate that type of shit. This new golf CEO, who I talked about with Regester when you weren't here, I think he's going to do the right thing. Like, this is that little, whatever it was, hour and a half product. Very, very good. Very, very good. Yeah, I'm excited for it. Like, it was really good.
What streaming service is it on?
Just go to YouTube. I don't think I found it on YouTube. Yeah, I just put it on YouTube.
All right, well, I'll have to go look at that then.
Yeah, it's good. I enjoyed it a lot. Like, it was Siwoo, Gotterop. Those two were the stars of the show. It was pretty good. And it's funny because you watch the tournament, you don't have to watch like the last 15 minutes because they just follow people who aren't mic'd up. But the mic'd up stuff is good. And I'm bad. I'm 100% going to waste money on Siwoo again because of this stupid goddamn thing.
Okay. Maybe Valero then. Maybe we'll go back to him there. But putting, the difficulty remained about the same. I mean, look, even if you change it from overseas Bermuda, there still is a lot of undulation to these greens. They are, fairly difficult for these guys. They're pretty big as well. So they kept basically the same difficulty as overall, even with the grass change there. Here's the driving stats, though, and pre and post overseed. The missed fairway penalty is basically zilch.
0.
Yeah, it was 41 out of 43 last year. I mean, it fell off a cliff, relatively speaking, but even with the Bermuda, though, it was pretty non-existent for PGA Tour standards. The rough penalty basically got cut in half when you went from Bermuda to overseed. That is a big change. That's directly attributable with the grass change right there. The non-rough penalty, though, this is with the fairway bunkers, which is interesting. I'm not going to really look at this week because there's so few fairway bunkers that I'm not going to care. And if you happen to find like the canyon, it's a penalty stroke.
Yeah, you're dead. Yeah,
dead. So really, I would just focus on the rough penalty and the fact that there just isn't a whole lot of penalties incurred, other than if you hit it in the canyon or the water hazard on like 16 and 17. And then driving stats, though. So you'll see a big spike here in 24 and 25 as far as like your driving distance compared to 21 to 23 or 22 and 23. This, I think, is mostly weather related as far as it was a lot colder when you played 22 and 23. 2021, though, that was like firm as shit. Like the ball just kept rolling and rolling. So it's all over the map. Don't confuse it, though. This is there's a lot of drivers that you pull at this course. So
yeah. So I will say, on that little thing that I was talking about, the Chasing Sunday, Gotterop said, I can't wait for Houston where I can just hit it wherever the hell I want.
Yeah, pretty much.
I was like, oh, that's nice. I like that.
Yeah, as opposed to Sawgrass where you spray it all over the place. I mean, you were resoundingly punished.
Yes, exactly.
For what that golf course offered. I loved how Sawgrass played this year, by the way. I didn't get a chance to really talk about it.
Me too. I know. It played great, man. It played awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it eliminated the clowns immediately.
Yep.
Like, you notice when I bet all those overs, I bet a bunch of really terrible guys on Thursday.
Yeah, as you should. Exactly right.
It did pretty good for me.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that she got. Yeah, and it was funny because it was a little softer on Thursday, and the guys. So if you really need to go watch this because they were like, "Oh man, the greens feel soft now," based off from last week because they were still complaining about the week before and how hard the greens were at fucking API, and which was annoying. And it was interesting, and then it got harder and faster and firmer, and so it was cool to watch.
That was a fun tournament. So
it was.
All right. Talk about proximity buckets. So even though it's only about 7,100 yard golf course, most of your shots are going to come from over 150. About 2/3 of your shots were over 150. There's a high percentage of shots over 200 yards. Either you got the reachable par fives, you got a couple of par threes over 200 yards. You got some longer par fours as well. So definitely long iron play. You definitely need to come with that this week as far as your proximity buckets the last 3 tournaments. Around the green stuff. So let's talk about this. You see from 2020 to 2022, again, this is the delineation of like pre-overseed and post-overseed. From the fairway, chipping off the tight Bermuda lies, one of the most difficult places on the PGA Tour to do that. It's one of the top 10 most difficult those 3 years. Now, 2024, though, you switch to overseed, and it still presents a fairly difficult challenge. It's still 6 out of 43 golf courses as far as your difficulty. What happened last year, though, is mostly because it was soft. And because the rain took a lot of fire out of these greens, it just made it did a couple things. One, there's a lot of collection areas around these greens, and the balls just didn't funnel quite as far away from the green. So that's that. And then it just was easier, just kind of stop. It just slowed the greens down, easier kind of get your ball to stop and check up. Whereas if the greens are a little firmer, then you add a little bit of difficulty to it. So I think if the golf course has been dried out from the last couple of weeks and we're not getting any rain, it potentially might be a little more Bermuda and some of this around the green areas. I think we're going to see a comeback here as far as your difficulty with the fairway stuff. I think so.
Let's go.
I think this was all weather related from last year.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Now the rough, though, This went from the hardest to get up and down from the rough, which is like way off the green because it was
Literally
Bermuda, it was firm as shit, to the easiest, and that's overseed. Again, though, even if we, get a little firmer and faster conditions,
it's still going to be easy.
It's still
the last 3 years.
Yeah, it's still 1.25 inch rough. Like the degree of difficulty is not going to be that much than other places. So, and then the bunker play, it's still one of the easiest on relative to other PGA Tour courses, but like we talked about, they removed a lot of bunkers. Yeah, that's why you like Jason Kokrak, by the way.
I know. I remember.
I said no bunkers. You're like, oh, okay, all right.
Kokrak, baby. Let's go.
Yep,
he does. He was bad on the bunkers.
There you go.
I miss Kokrak.
He's still around. He's on Live. Do you want to get up and watch that sponge that was Live South Africa this morning?
I saw the highlights and then I was fine. Like whatever. Like I just don't care. It sucks so bad because I like these golfers that are over there. I just do not give a fuck. It's crazy. I mean, that was like I think the ball Bryson had off was like a marsh. Like it was crazy. It looked like a fucking cranberry bog.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's when you put a course that's an elevation and pour a bunch of rain on it, that's why you get 26 under winning score. And like how many guys are under 20 under by the end of that tournament? And this is a field that just is full of a lot of not very good golfers too.
No,
it's not, the Live setups are not very good for pre-major tune-up. The best one they got is, I guess, Sentosa. And you're taking a very weak field, and the average driving accuracy rate was above PGA Tour averages, and the green regulation rate is basically what average PGA Tour courses are, and those fields are a lot stronger. So if you put it at a real field, probably on Sentosa, it's not going to look as difficult as what these guys will, make it appear. So, but that's my little whatever. Let's go to comp courses for Memorial Park. So this is per data golf. Again, like it just matches the skill set chart to courses that have similar ones. You see a high correlation of driving distance being a little more predictive to success at Memorial Park. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that when it's 1.25 inch rough and he blasts anywhere, there's not a whole big missed fairway penalty. Obviously, man hit ball far, man do better at Memorial Park. Less correlation to driving accuracy, approach play around the green, maybe a little bit of putting is a little more predictive. But overall, though, basically this is what stands out is just driving distance matters a lot more than other places. And you see with the list here, it's mostly longer golf courses with low missed fairway penalties, like Torrey Pines South, last year's ISCO Championship at Hertzborn, Punta Cana, the Dunes Golf and Beach Club, LACC, not my U.S. Open back in 2023, Cades Valley, Trinity Forest. I wish that golf course was still around. It's better than
me too, man.
It's a good course. Well, they dumbed it down because they were so scared of how these guys would act around it. But it's it's no rough and crazy undulated greens, a lot of tight lies.
Yeah,
like they could have let that one go to hell, and that would have been an entertaining tournament.
That's the good stuff, as they say.
That was the good stuff. Royal Portrush here, specifically last year, where there just was no missed fairway penalty because it was really soft and benign on Thursday. But Vedanta Vallarta, that's one people are going to want to look at for this.
The fact that this thing is the Vallarta is still fucking showing up on comp courses. When the hell was the last time we played Vallarta?
It was last year when Brian Campbell's
oh Christ
race Sunday.
Yeah. That's right. That was hilarious because I didn't have the other guy's ticket.
Yeah.
What Mexico course am I thinking of that shows up randomly here? It was where the WGC was. It shows up randomly.
Oh, Chapultepec.
Yeah, Chapultepec shows up here randomly. I'm like, they haven't played in fucking 5 years. Why is this still a comp course?
Well, they play that on Live now.
That doesn't matter. Live doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. You're right. Some other courses that aren't on this list. I would take like basically the top 12. I always like using Renaissance Club as a good comp for this place. Again, Tom Doak greens. There's some tight lies around the green. There's not a big missed fairway penalty there. So at least from like a driving comp.
Is it? That's where the Scottish Open. That's where the Scottish Open's at, right?
Yeah, and that's why we bet Minwoo Lee last year because he won there. Got her up. That's another one for this week. There's a few guys who like Thomas Dietrich's done well at that Scottish Open, and then he's done well at Houston here.
Don't bring his name up around me.
All right, I'm sorry. I won't bring your name up here. Couple other places with some like tighter lies around the green, like Pinehurst. It's Bermuda. Although if there's gonna be more Bermuda, maybe in this these collection areas, that might be okay to look at for like around the green comps for that, like Tony Finau.
Sure.
You know, for that. Let's see. Phoenix has some pretty good tight lies around the green. You see a little bit of crossover again. Got her up.
Dietrich again, and
Dietrich. Yep. There you go. There.
Oh, okay. Well, I might just straight bet Goddard.
You know, it has more. You know, it has a lot of tighter lies around the green. It's not as difficult, but like there's a lot of tight lies around like Waialae. Now that one you can actually like putt back to the putting surface, and I wouldn't say it's like tee to green, but like if you're looking for a place where like guys got to chip off of tight lies, you know that can work there. Some people like Rocket Mortgage for the miss fairway penalty. I agree. That one is a little more democratic towards long hitters and short hitters, whereas this one really just favors a lot of longer hitters. And obviously around the green, it's a bunch of rough around that green. The greens are different. I don't love that one as much as others. I think that one is more, I look at leaderboard, I see the same guys as like this one. But I get it though. As far as like the lack of missed fairway penalty, like I get it. You can use that. There's probably a couple others I can't think of, but those are just ones in general I kind of like.
Right.
So, and then let's go through the years because we've been really good at predicting this. So look at this heinous leaderboard. Look at these bums that Tony Finau beat that week.
Losers.
Tyson Alexander. I don't even know if he has status anymore anywhere.
No, he doesn't have status anymore. Neither does Norin. I know you fucking love him for some reason.
Well, that's a loser that Tony Finau beat. Trey Mullinax, Alex Smalley, loser. Aaron Rye, loser. Adam Hadwin, loser. Joel Damon, loser. Keith Mitchell,
Justin
loser.
Rose not a loser. Scotty.
No, he's not. Scotty.
Oh, Jaeger. So yeah, Scotty, Jaeger, Gary. I'll even give Rye. Rye's not like a complete loser.
Yeah. Well, Scotty should have won 3 of these, by the way, Memorial Park. I remember that there was an argument of, well, because there's no missed fairway penalty, like Scotty, like this is of course like to not take Scotty. Scotty should have won 3 of these things.
I can't believe
let's not kid ourselves, okay?
Like the Jaeger fucking beat him.
Well, do you know why Jaeger beat him? You know what? Why don't we
I remember.
Let's put a bow on this and just talk about this. Was the last Bermuda tournament. It was really cold. I do want to give Tony Finau some props, by the way. I know he beat a bunch of bums, but he also was up like 7 with 9 to go. Like that, he did exactly.
Do you see how he's dressing lately?
Okay, but
somebody in the Discord said he's dressing like a broke pimp.
Okay, but he did exactly what you needed to do. Like he did. Like you're a big fish. And you're up 7 with 9 to go. Like you're doing exactly what you need to do on a difficult golf course, by the way. Fine. Like I think this one, yes, we both hit the outright. I think we remember it fondly, but I think Finau deserves a little more credit for this than I think maybe we want to give him credit for.
I guess.
All right. But as far as like what separate yourself, because it was so difficult conditions, it was cold, it was windy, like this became a lot more of like a ball striking term, especially like around the green. Some of that is because like Rye and like Scotty and Jaeger had like really good weeks, but overall though, like it was way more important than the average course. And actually accuracy mattered a lot more when it was Bermuda because you had Bermuda rough, you know, the green's a little firmer, like in tournament accuracy, not necessarily as predicted, but the guys actually hit the most fairways for the most part. You know, like Tony Finau drove really great. He hit 75% of his fairways that week. So that mattered a lot, at least with that. You get to the oversea, though, you start seeing a different story. The oversea, for the most part, de-skilled a little bit in tournament ball striking, specifically like approach play as well, because you cut down the rough. It's, you know, to 1 1/4. You know, it doesn't make hitting fairways all that important. It's a lot easier to hit from that rough as well. So it definitely de-skilled a little bit of that area. Still made around the green relatively important because you know, it still had a little bit firmer conditions for the most part. It still made it a little more difficult to, you know, chip your ball off that stuff. But here, though, you're right. Jaeger only won because Scotty spun a wedge off of the front of 15, and that was all she wrote. He took a double. Otherwise, no one's cashing that 100-to-1 ticket that week. Nope. But that's what happens. That's golf.
Look at that. Fucking Rye again.
Yep. Aaron Rye, also a winner at Renaissance Club, by the way.
Yeah, maybe I just go Rye Tony Soprano this week.
You could. There's Dietrich, there's Grazerman. You know,
Grazerman makes sense here.
Yeah, like that's your Rocket Mortgage comp, I guess here. So, but a lot of guys like this was also a tournament that Toasty was just trolling Finau.
Oh, I know. This is the tournament I found Toasty and then wasted money on him for the next fucking year.
You did. I mean, he's a terrible golfer, but he's a good personality. Yeah. But anyways, though, like just even though in-tournament distance didn't matter all that much, like just a bunch of bombers, Jaeger, Finau, Scotty, Dietrich.
Jaeger's such a
Toasty.
Nazi. He fucking stinks. I hate Jaeger. I hate him so much.
Grazerman. So, but it definitely came a little bit more of a putting contest, and it definitely turned into it last year when it was just soft and easy.
Oh, Toasty was T5 here again last year.
Yeah.
Let's see.
This is
he's in again. Fuck.
Yeah. Now I will say though, we both hit Minwoo Lee last year.
Beautiful.
No, we did not need a con artist to tell us to do that. We both did it before he picked that bet, so I don't want to hear that anymore.
I forgot about that.
Okay. Everyone wants to credit him. No, I think he stole that idea from us. Like he stole a lot of stuff from I think other people on this
us and Andy. That's what.
Yes,
he listens to my show Sunday night and then fucking regurgitate.
Basically, but it's funny though. Minwoo Lee lost strokes off the tee for the week, and he still won.
I couldn't believe he went in the fucking water. I was apoplectic when he.
Oh, we were furious. I think I fell against my door when that happened.
I literally, I have a nice like lazy boy recliner that's my favorite, and I literally just like leaned forward, went to my knees, and I was like, "You on the floor?" I was like, "You've got to be fucking kidding me." My daughter's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Daddy's fine."
Yeah,
it's fine.
Well, we dodged a Scotty bullet again last year too, because Scotty went nuts on the back nine, and he was in the middle of the fairway on 18, and he hit an awful iron. Awful. I was convinced he was going to stick it to like 4 feet.
Me too.
And then Minwoo airmails the green on 18 and has a tough up and down just to like get the win, knocks it to a foot. Game over. That was great. But we definitely were sweating a lot for this one. But because of easier conditions, like tee to green just completely just de-skilled and just you could not separate yourself as well as other tournaments. This became essentially a putting contest. It became a lot more important in terms of putting because it's just green regulation rates spiked. It was easier to get up and down. It was easier to stick approaches close to it. And then lo and behold, like Minwoo Lee crush on the greens. Kerry Woodland crushed on the greens. That's surprising. And then Scotty was just being Scotty.
Gary Woodland crushing on the greens, as you could tell from here on out, was an anomaly.
Yeah, but this was also the final start for Rory before he won the Masters, and I think this was a good option. He had the choice of either going to Valero, which he usually does, or here. And this one, he was able to kind of sharpen his skills around the green, get used to hitting a much longer approach shots. I mean, if you want to ask me personally, I think with some like around the green play at Augusta is just paramount. And the more exposure 100%. You can have chipping off of tight lies onto pretty complex undulated greens is important. I think more guys should play this in Valero.
Absolutely.
In my opinion.
We've been screaming this forever.
They really should.
So much better. This is so much better.
Yeah. But because of AT&T's ties to Valero, that gets a little more players. Guys want to play the week before. I mean, Valero definitely gives you some benefit, like some things that are good. Like that can be a little bit of a like skills you need for Augusta, like elevation changes, hitting uphill, hitting downhill. Like that's important. But like I think just like you need to get as much exposure to chipping off a tight lie as you can. And like this gives it. And I wish this tournament got a better field. Yeah.
This field's pretty good. It's
good. It's good. I mean, it's not a signature event, obviously. Like you got Scotty, like there's some good names, but
those good names.
But I think more guys should play it. And I think Rory, if you tell him like, you know, if you ask him about it, I think he would say like, yeah, like this was a good decision. Even though it played easy, this was a good decision to play this tournament last year.
I mean, who's in the field? Let's see, who's in the field that's actually like has a shot at Augusta?
Well, there's a shot at Augusta.
Yeah, so Brooks, Scotty.
Does Brooks really have a shot at Augusta?
Who are you?
He's been.
Are you feeling all right? See, well,
I'm good. It's just like
I'm going to test your forehead. What's happening?
All right, let me.
Of course he does. Of course he does. And he's been playing good. He's been playing good.
He's been playing good, but like
you can't putt worth a shit. I probably
okay, but like the last 4 or 5 Masters has been all right. Who's just the best player? Who's been the player?
No, I know.
And Brooks been good.
Yeah,
like I wouldn't say like he's sharp to win it. Well, all right. So what's the list as far as like the best names? Like you got Cam Young.
No,
I would say Fitzpatrick's starting to play pretty good golf. Like he might qualify as one of those guys.
I don't know what I will do if he wins a Masters.
Are people just going to say Ludwig's a loser?
He is a loser.
Okay. He put himself in position to win 2 tournaments, and he's been really good at it.
And he loses on Sunday. I don't know what happens.
All right, but
I told you this was the thing between me and Feinberg. I told him.
I know.
I was like, listen, I'll bet you straight up every time on fucking Sunday with Ludwig because he fucking stinks on Sundays.
Well, he didn't stink for Torrey Pines for us at
That's fine, and we won both of them. We won that bet. That's fine.
We did. Bryson. You know, it's the live results.
Never Masters.
No, he's been close. We'll bookmark that for a couple weeks from now. There needs to be certain weather conditions that we want to bet him for Augusta.
I don't think I'm ever going to want to bet him for Augusta.
I mean, if Scotty shows something this week, obviously, you know,
Colin, but now he's got a back injury.
Yeah, how's it gonna play out? That was the guy, I think.
Oh, 100%. That was
the name 100%. With how good he'd been playing and 100%. Like
100%.
Driver was working for him. Long iron play's been good at Augusta.
But I know I texted you. It was midnight when I was watching it, and I said, "Oh my god, how about you just play a hole and see if your back still hurts? Maybe just swing the club to see what happens. Like it's a back tweak. It's a back muscle. Like I don't understand." I just don't understand. He's withdrawing from the Players' Championship because his back hurt from a practice swing. Maybe just go play and maybe par or two, and maybe it'll loosen itself up. Throw some icy hot on your back and see what happens. I was coming around on Colin Morikawa until that, and I didn't even care. I didn't give a shit about like the DFS withdrawal and all that stuff. I didn't care. But when I watched him do the back thing and my back, oh, buddy, like you are doing nothing to help the reputation of soft ass golfers. Like, oh, I twinged my back. I can't possibly play for $3 million. You can fucking go play. You might not be playing great, but you can still go swing the club, you fucking pussy. Jesus Christ. Oh, right back down to the Alex Smalley cuck chair. Right there with him. Go put boots on your doggy, all the other bullshit. Like, I hate him again. He was finally coming around. I think, he's got a kid on the way. Maybe he figured it out. Had patience on 18 when Bridgman was fucking shooting it left and right into the ocean, out of the ocean, back into the ocean. No. Fucking no. It's still Colin. He still sucks.
All right. Well, he should have taken a page out of Scotty's book in 2024 where he had the shoulder injury and they got a 5-minute massage before every tee shot down the back nine.
Well, yeah, why couldn't he have done that?
Should have did that. I mean, there's precedence for it. I mean, Scotty should have been DQ'd for that, and then it led to one of the worst beats of my life.
Yeah, Wyndham Clark. So it's so funny. So people who listen know who Pete is. So Pete, that was his first golf bet ever. Bet Wyndham Clark at TPC.
It's a bad one.
That's the first bet he ever made.
You know what I thought? I thought of
like crack cocaine from there on out.
You know what I thought of the Saturday of players that people I don't think talk about anymore because they talk about Wyndham's lip out. How about him laying the sod over it on 17 on Saturday?
So bad.
That one was bad. That's why he lost. And I remember that. I always remember that when I have a guy in contention players, I'm like, just don't do what Wyndham Clark did on Saturday.
Fucking my other best friend, Tommy hit fucking Cam Young this year. Sent me a picture. He's on a cruise and he sends me a picture with a cigar, smoking a cigar on the boat. Wow. Way to go, Cam Young. I'm like, good job, bud.
I think everybody hit Cam Young except for
he wasn't even on my fucking radar. I get the
How is he not on your radar?
Because I don't know. It's not a Cam Young guy. I guess
you're not a Cam Young guy. Okay.
No.
All right.
Lost to Peter Malali, man. He lost to Peter Malnati.
That's true. He did.
That's tough.
He
That's
did.
tough to overcome in my brain.
And then he won it by a touchdown at Wyndham, and then became the best player on a failed U.S. team, Ryder Cup.
Yeah,
team.
but that doesn't count. That was all fake. Like that was the Europeans letting their foot off the gas.
Okay. All right. You got anything else?
Nah, that's it, Bubba. We're
All right.
Tuesday.
We are here on Tuesday. We'll go over the betting card with a bunch of bombers that we're probably going to take.
Yeah.
So, although, you know what? There's a name I have.
Okay.
That's going to be my gummy play. That is not in this mold of everything that I think you are going to love. You are going to love the name I have in mind.
All right.
That completely is not anything of what you would want to target here.
Okay.
But he's playing well, and he's played well some comp courses. I'll reveal that name on Tuesday.
Okay.
He's a big long shot.
I love it.
Yeah.
Can't wait to lose money with you on him.
All right. Go down with the ship. Go down the ship with me on that one.
Listen, always, man. Always.
Okay.
Yeah. I always used to say, so there was a team on the Navy ship that was like you'd have to go like bust up with like hammers and shit to break up the technology and stuff. And I got put on the team and I was like, I don't want to be on this team. What are you talking about? I don't want to I want to be on a lifeboat. I don't go break shit and fucking go down with the ship. I don't want to do that. But I'll go down with the shit for a good bet. I'll do that.
All right. Now I already know your reaction. You're just gonna be like, all right, whose name is like? You're gonna be like, oh,
yeah.
You get a look in your eye. And I say
do.
a name, you're like, oh, it really scratches an itch for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
All right, this guy's gonna scratch an itch for you.
My grandfather used to call it the mischief in your eyes. That's what he used to say. You got the mischief in your eyes, boy. I'm like, yeah, I do. That's true.
All right, well, stay tuned for Tuesday. And that's it for tonight.
All right, we'll see you boys on Tuesday and girls, whoever listens. Bye.